Greg, we've asked you about three-point shooting a lot, obviously, but what about finishing at the rim? I think it was an issue against Michigan, and obviously the numbers tonight don't look that good.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's especially early. We had a lot of, a lot of things right at the rim, which is what we wanted. We wanted things in the paint early, but obviously you got to convert. So I know it was 8 for 30-something from 2. Not all of those were at the rim, but a high percentage of them, because especially 3 or 4 early, that obviously can help set a tone to, finish possessions. And obviously against this team, you can't waste possessions because they're so explosive so quickly on the other end.
Jim?
Greg, we talked to you a lot about Garza yesterday, but Wieskamp's been playing so well lately and hit a couple daggers in the second half. What does he add to that offense just in terms of the difficulty of defending that team?
Well, they do such a good job. He moves so well without the ball. If you watch him, I mean, he reads screens. And with his size and his ability to get it off so quick, I'll watch the tape and see exactly on the 5 threes. But I didn't think we were, tight enough. But part of that's him too, of how quick he gets it off at his size. That if you aren't right there, if you have a hand down, which we did a few times as well, even though you're there, his ability to rise over the top and especially the quickness of the release is something. Even before tonight, I thought he'd made a huge jump in terms of that specifically in his game. Even watching last year's game or looking back at the type of player he was last year.
Tom?
Greg, when you struggle to shoot like this, I know you've got an approach that you take, but are you happy with the shot selection maybe in that first half? Do you think maybe players are getting frustrated and trying to do too much at times?
Well, I mean, you want them. You don't want to micromanage shot selection, Tom, because that'll make it more of a mental issue than it ever needs to be. So we talk about good shots, average shots, poor shots. We show the good ones, But I thought, in the first half we made the run back. We had obviously we talked about the twos specifically to start the game. And made the run back and had it within 6 there at the end of the half. And I thought the 3 at the end of the half was huge to push it to 9. And there was an offensive rebound and one that Nunji had in the second half. And I think we had it to 3 or 4 as well that were, I thought, big momentum increasing plays for them that you can't give them because they're that explosive offensively. And it just put them, you had to keep them within arm's reach. But in terms of the twos, I mean, I'll go through and evaluate the shots. If there's really poor shot selection, we'll talk about that if it's a common theme. But for the most part, I thought we had decent looks. Trice coming off the ball screen. Is there other options to that than him shooting it? But he was open on a lot of them too. But I'll have to go through. I'll have a better idea on exact shot selection after I watch the film.
Carly?
Coach, what did you think of the way your team defended Garza tonight? And did you make any adjustments in the second half? Because it seemed like, you were able to contain him a little better in the second half for the majority of it.
Well, he's hard to contain. I mean, just because he's worked so hard to make himself to that type of player he is, and he plays so hard, you watch him run the floor. It's all out effort each time down. And obviously if he catches it, he's, it's a basket, a foul. Plus he makes, and I think that's the thing that makes them really go in terms of their efficiency, because they're number 1 in the country now in offense. But they can rely on throwing him the ball and making something positive is going to happen. 90% of the time it's going to be basket or foul, or he finds the right person to kick it out to. He sees the game, he passes it well. You try to keep it out of his hands as much as you can. We did make some mistakes on him, and I'll go through the film and see those and allowed him to sit on us. But, he works so hard and is such a good offensive player. I thought we did a decent job on him, but there were breakdowns and a couple that were crucial at key points and times.
Josh?
Greg, considering how good Iowa's offense is, did you feel like your offense kind of asked a little bit too much of your defense tonight to have a near perfect night against one of the best offenses in the country?
Well, I mean, offenses, we've struggled. I mean, that's no secret in terms of trying to score at the level we should be scoring or need to score at. I thought we had the pace at where we needed to have it. I thought we had it, like I said, before the 3 at the end of the half, we had them 33 points on 31 possessions. So you've got it at the pace and the possession number that you needed at. And you got to keep them with arm's reach while you're struggling and we're scuffling offensively. And there were a couple, like I said, that play, it got it a little further away. And then obviously the play with Nunji, I think with 12 minutes, something to go. Thought that was a big one too, that, we were right there and can we make another push? But yeah, you have to be, as far as efficient as they are, they pass it so well. I mentioned about Garza and his efficiency. I didn't realize until this afternoon how good they are in terms of nationally in the last 20 years. It's our 15 team, Villanova in 2018, and this team that have the 3 highest in the last 20 years in terms of offensive efficiency. So, whether they can keep that rolling or not, we'll see. But, you have a lot of good things happen when you have a high level post player to throw it to. And can, we had one in that year too, that created a lot of good things for your offense, whether they scored it or not. And that's what makes them so hard to keep pace with. And that's why you've got to keep them, you got to keep the, possessions in a manageable number, and you've got to keep them within arm's reach because obviously they explode in a hurry.
Raul?
Greg, you guys had a season high 17 offensive rebound, and Michael led the team with 6 of his own. I was wondering, was that kind of an emphasis for you guys coming into the game, and how you like the effort from the team overall?
I did. Rebounding is always an emphasis, and obviously after Sunday, that's a good step in the right direction. So I thought Micah did some good things there on the offensive end. Obviously, I thought we rebounded fairly well. I thought we took care of the ball for the most part decently well. So yeah, those 2 things were positives that we'll draw from it, and we'll look at the things that we can improve, on specifically the defensive end with Wieskamp and what we can do better with Garza. And not a lot of time to sit around and feel sorry for yourself because we got to get ready to play Northwestern here, and that won't be easy either.
All right, we'll wrap things up with one more from Jeff.
Greg, when the shots don't fall, guys can lose a little confidence. When you don't win games and you don't see results of the work, they can lose some confidence. Are you worried at all that these guys are losing a little bit of their edge, their mental edge, not seeing positive results?
Well, that's probably for them to answer. I don't think so, because they bounce back, Jeff. We've had obviously our string of tougher games, and every time they bounce back the next day in practice, I usually get a pretty good vibe the next day. So yeah, they not happy tonight? Are they upset? Yeah, that's good, because that means it means something. But I always gauge that the next day or the next time I see them if we happen to have an off day. So and every time they've come back, and we talk about that, you just don't have time to dwell on it. Let's move on to the next one. We'll correct the things that need to be corrected, and we don't have time to, like I mentioned earlier, sit around and feel sorry for yourself. But to this point, Jeff, they've consistently bounced back, and I think they understand that. It's a resilient group. Of course, we're frustrated and want to be specifically offensively doing better things, but we got to keep pushing through it and continue to clean up the things that we can control, and get ready for the next game, because this league is not gonna give us any mercy or any passes to the next opponent. So it is what it is. This league is a handful, and you can't dwell on it if it doesn't go well. You've got to quickly push it past you or behind you and move on to the next one. So so far, we'll see how they respond tomorrow. I don't anticipate them being down, we'll flush it out and move on to the next one.